Hello, once again, everybody. It's your boy, King David the Warrior, and today I'm going to be doing part 2 of Gine's Revenge. 10 years have now passed since the last battle. Goku, Gine, Bardock have all chosen to live on planet David in peace, as we now watch over the earth as silence and peace reigned. However, one day, a fleet of Frieza's old spaceships arrived just outside of planet David's orbit. So, this is the fleet that took down Frieza's fleet, said King Cole. Yes, it appears their flagship is said to have a powerful cannon capable of puncturing a huge hole in a spaceship, said Cooler. No matter. We should take care of that very quickly, very soon, said an unknown voice. The fleet immediately went towards King David's fleet. Sir, an enemy fleet has just appeared, said one of King David's soldiers. Quick, alert the king, said another one of King David's soldiers. Meanwhile, on the surface, your lordship, an unknown fleet has just emerged out of hyperspace and is heading straight for us, said one of King David's soldiers. Engage! Send in the fighters immediately, said King David. What is it? Said Gine. It appears an old friend of yours, or rather, the family of an old friend of yours, has finally revealed themselves, said King David. Meanwhile, the fleet moves closer to King David's fleet as the fighters move in to engage. Smaller ships took on the fighters as they approached the fleet. Meanwhile, on the surface, fire the main cannon at the enemy fleet, shouted King David. Yes, sir, said one of his soldiers. The front of his ship slowly began to open up, revealing the huge cannon on the inside. Sir, they're getting ready to fire their main weapon, said one of King Cole's soldiers. Take evasive action. Move away from the cannon's range, said King Cole. The cruisers moved out of its way as the battle continued. Sir, the enemy ships have moved out of range, said one of King David's soldiers. They must know about our secret weapon. Quick, all ships, open fire on their cruisers. Do not let a single one of them get past the fleet, said King David. Yes, sir. All ships, open fire, shouted one of King David's soldiers. As King Cole's men got closer to the flagship, several ships were taken down by the massive laser fire. Concentrate your attacks on that flagship's main cannon before it closes its hatches, said King Cole. Yes, sir, said one of King Cole's men. Several of King Cole's men managed to get past the laser fire as they begin to attack the main cannon. Fire! The attack severely damaged the main cannon, causing multiple explosions within the ship. Sir, I'm afraid I have some bad news, said one of King David's soldiers. What is it? Said King David. I'm afraid the enemy troops were able to attack the cannon, and now it looks like the flagship may go down in flames, said one of King David's soldiers. Unbelievable. That, how did they get past my cannons? Said King David. I'm afraid because our hatch doesn't have any defenses, they were able to concentrate on that one spot. So now, there's nothing more we can do, said the soldier. Evacuate the ship immediately, said King David. Yes, sir. All personnel, evacuate immediately. The ship is going down, yelled the soldier. All of King David's crewmen who operated the massive vessel evacuated. Several shuttles and fighters managed to get out of there in time as the massive flagship exploded. Crick, everyone move away from the flagship immediately, said the captain of one of the nearby cruisers. King David's fleet began to immediately move away from the flagship as it exploded. Pieces of the flagship fell onto the surface of the planet, coming in the form of meteors through the sky. Everyone on the surface ran away from the falling debris coming out of space as the remains of the flagship came crashing down. They took out the flagship. What are we going to do, David? Said Gine. Without the flagship, we can't use our secret weapon. I'm afraid we're going to have to take on the enemy fleet without it. In the meantime, they will be landing soon. So everyone to your battle stations, shouted King David. Sir, yes, sir, said the soldiers. King Cole's ship arrived on the planet's surface. All right, everybody. Looks like the leader himself is here. Let's power up, shouted King David. Gine, Goku, Raditz, and Bardock all transformed into their Super Saiyan 1 form. And then as for King David, he powered up, causing green aura to appear all around him as his power level rose to 12,000. The ship opened up, allowing dozens of King Cole's soldiers to charge at King David and his army. Everyone, defend the castle, shouted King David. Yes, sir, shouted one of King David's soldiers. David's army then charged at the enemy army, taking them on one by one. Meanwhile, at the ship, King Cold and Cooler both walked out of the ship. So that's King David, I'm guessing, said King Cole. Doesn't really seem that intimidating, said Cooler. Well then, Mr. Big Shot, how about you come at me, just you and I, king to king, and see how strong I really am, said King David. Well, I thought you never ask, said King Cole. King David and King Cole then flew into the sky and attacked each other intensely. Meanwhile, on the surface, the Saiyans took on Cooler, as they also fought intensely. Smoke and explosions appeared everywhere, as the three different battles raged. King Cole and King David fought intensely. Then David delivered a huge blow to King Cole's stomach. breaking his armor. Now, what was that you were saying about me not being intimidating? Said King David. King Cole then spat out blood as he gasped for air. So, it's come down to this. You being defeated by another king. A king that you were not intimidated by. But you know what? I'm a merciful king. I will let you live if you're willing to give up your evil ways. What do you say? Said King David. I will never surrender, said King Cole. Fine, have it your way. Cosmic Crush, shouted King David. A green energy blast went right through King Cole. King Cole then fell to the surface of the planet. So sad. He could have been a great ally if he would have changed his mind. But it is what it is. Cosmic Crush, shouted King David as he sent another green energy blast at King Cole. The energy ball destroyed him immediately, leaving no trace of his body. Father! No! Shouted Cooler. Oh, I am so sorry, Cooler. But if you don't surrender, your fate will be the same as his, said King David. I will never surrender. I will avenge my father, shouted Cooler. You guys all the same. But you know what? I'm going to let my friend Gine take care of you, said King David. Gine then transformed into Super Saiyan 3 and then beat the living crap out of Cooler. Gine then sent Cooler falling to the ground after a blow to the gut. He hit the ground hard enough to create a big hole, sending a ton of dust into the air. Gine then charged her Kamehameha wave and fired it at Cooler immediately. Cooler was completely destroyed by the blast, leaving nothing but a giant hole. That's 2 down, said King David. The team then looked up at the flagship as it was flying overhead. Alright guys, looks like that's our cue to get out of here, said the mysterious person. Yes sir, said one of the soldiers. The flagship, along with what's left of King Cole's fleet, jumped into hyperspace, leaving behind the badly beaten fleet. They're gone, said Gine. Yes, and I have a feeling it's not over yet. They took down our flagship, but we took down 2 of their most important leaders. I wonder who's really leading this attack. 'Cause I feel like this was too easy, said King David. We're going to have to prepare an assault against the enemy homeworld. The question is, how do we find them? Said King David. Sir, we have a prisoner, said one of King David's soldiers. Well, hello there. You are going to be useful today. I need you to tell me where your boss and the rest of your guys went, said King David. I will not betray the Frieza Force. You can torture me all you want, but you will get nothing from me, said the soldier. Oh, really? Well then, I'm gonna have to show you how I became king, said King David. King David then flew into the sky as thunderclouds formed around him. David then turned to a huge thundercloud with big, bright, white, glowing eyes. Lightning shot out of the bottom half of the clouds. You see, I am not your average king. I have powers that go far beyond your ability to understand. Why, it is because of me I was able to destroy your leader, King Cole, and help destroy your apprentice, Frieza. And now, with only a fleet is left behind, I will take down the Frieza force, with help from my friend here, Gine. So you better make yourself useful, or I will show you fear like you've never seen before. The soldier began to shake as he looked at King David with fear. I'll do as you say. Just don't kill me, said the scared soldier. Several minutes later, King David gathered his remaining army to prepare for the assault. Alright guys, now you know I can't have all of you come with me. A lot of you are going to have to stay behind and protect our base. Yes, sir, said one of King David's soldiers. Now, I'm going to take at least half of the entire army to come with me to Frieza's old home planet. Over there, we are going to take out the enemy base and what's left of their fleet. However, we are not, and I mean not, to destroy the planet itself like we did several years ago. Last I checked, that planet is the home of Frieza's species. Okay, we are not going to be responsible for the death and the extinction of his race. Okay, we are not going to pull a Frieza on this one. So, what we're going to do is I'll have the remaining fleet take on their fleet in orbit around the planet. Meanwhile, me and Gine will go down to the surface and take down whoever's leading this fleet. And Goku, you and Bardock will stay in space to help assist the fleet. Raditz and Lily, the two of you are to stay here and watch over the castle. We cannot afford to lose our base. So everyone who's coming with me, grab your gear and prepare for departure. We are going to bring an end to this war and the end to the Frieza Force. Well, you know, without the flagship, we don't have our secret weapon, said Gine. Gine. Have you forgotten who I am? I am King David. I am the secret weapon. Oh yes, how could I forget, said Gine as she rolled her eyes. Alright everyone, you know what to do. Let's get ready to go, said King David. Sir, yes sir, said King David's soldiers. Come back in one piece, David, said Lily as she gave him a kiss on the cheek. You can count on me, said King David. An hour later, King David, Gine, Goku, and Bardock were all aboard one of the remaining battleships as the fleet gathered together. The fleet then jumped into hyperspace. Meanwhile, on Frieza's old home planet, There is a strong possibility that the enemy might come here at some point, said one of King Cole's soldiers. Oh, really? And what makes you so sure of that? Said the mysterious figure. Some of our men were captured by the enemy, so there's a very strong possibility the enemy might come here, said the soldier. You're right. Send the fleet back into space. Have them create a blockade in the planet's orbit. Do not let anything through, said the mysterious figure. Yes, sir, said the soldier. King David's fleet then appeared in space not too far from the planet. There it is, the enemy fleet dead ahead, said King David. Alright guys, you know what to do. You will take care of the fleet. Me and Gine are going to hop in the shuttle and get past them somehow, said King David. But how? I'll be on the outside of the shuttle protecting it from the enemy as we get past the cruisers, said King David. So they want more, huh? Well, then we'll give them more. Attack, said the mysterious figure. Several fighters were launched towards King David's fleet, as David himself launches fighters. Alright guys, you know what to do. Draw their attention away from the shuttle, said King David. Yes, sir, said one of the soldiers. Several fighters, including Bardock and Goku, took on the enemy fighters, as King David flew alongside the shuttle as he went straight through the blockade. The enemy cruisers opened fire on the shuttle, but King David deflected the lasers using his shield. The shuttle and King David both made it past the fleet and then head straight for the planet. Meanwhile, Goku and Bardock took on the enemy fighters protecting the fleet. Meanwhile, on the surface, the mysterious figure leading the fleet just got word that King David was arriving with a shuttle. Alright everyone, to your battle stations. We'll give them a warm welcome they will never forget, said the mysterious figure. Several troops got behind gun turrets and started to open fire on the shuttle. Meanwhile, King David protects the shuttle once again using his shield, deflecting the oncoming laser bolts. Hold on, guys. It's gonna be bumpy. The shuttle then flew side to side, dodging the lasers, as the enemy cannons opened fire on it. King David fired several key blasts at the gun turrets, taking them out one by one. The shuttle then landed in front of the base. Alrighty, time to find out who's behind all this, said King David. Well done. You managed to get past my fleet and my defense system, said the mysterious figure. Who are you? Said King David. Why, my name is Arctic. I am Lord Frieza's cousin, said Arctic. So, our old enemy has a cousin, huh? And so you must be the one pulling all the strings, said King David. Oh no. I'm actually helping out someone else. Someone who told me about what you guys did all those years ago. And he's been the real mastermind behind all this. I'm just making sure that everything goes according to plan, said Arctic. What plan? What's going on? Said King David. Oh, you'll see in just a minute, said Arctic. A mysterious laugh could be heard. Who? I recognize that laugh, said King David.
So, you finally made it,
said the mysterious figure.
and I thought you would never make it this far. But now the day's come, my brother,
said the mysterious figure. John, I thought I was done with you after our last confrontation, said King David.
Oh no, I survived that battle, and now I'm here to get revenge,
said John. John was as tall as King David, but was the older brother. John had red armor with devil horns, making him look like the devil himself.
Alright, enough introductions. How about we get down to business?
John laughed as he pulled out his sword. With pleasure, traitor, said King David as he also pulled out his sword. All right, Gine, looks like you're going to have to fight Arctic on your own. Me and John have a little score to settle, said King David. Okay. Sure, said Gine.
It'll be like old times.
Oh, will you shut up, said King David. On then swung his sword at King David. King David blocked it with his, locking swords. As the two brothers fought each other in a classic duel of the swords, Gine and Arctic were face to face. So, looks like it's just you and me, monkey, said Arctic. How dare you call me that? I will kill you just like I did Frieza, said Gine. Oh, well, unlike my cousin Frieza, I took the time to train. So I am ready to face your Super Saiyan 3 transformation, said Arctic as he smiled. We'll see about that, said Gine. Gine then transformed into her Super Saiyan 3 form and flew straight at Arctic. Arctic and Gine then flew into the sky and fought each other fiercely. Alright, enough warming up. Time to take this to the next level, said Arctic. Arctic then transformed into his version of 100% final form. He then delivered several blows to Gine, sending her falling to the ground. So, you monkey thought you could take on me? Oh no. Word about what you did to Frieza spread very fast. So I took the time to not only train, but learn an interesting transformation. Arctic then transformed into his version of Gold Frieza. In this form, your pathetic Super Saiyan 3 form doesn't stand a chance against me. Arctic then walked over to Gine and kicked her, sending her flying at least by 5 feet. She groaned in pain as Arctic once again walked over to her. She then tried spamming Kai Blast at him, but nothing worked. He was too strong. Uh, I can't beat him. He's too strong, said Gine. Meanwhile, King David gets punched in the gut, sending him flying several feet away from John. He then lands on his back, making a loud cling sound as his armor hits the ground. Gine, remember that transformation we taught you years ago? Said King David. You mean Ultra Instinct? Said Gine. Yes. You have to use it against him. It's the only way you could beat him, said King David. Yes, you're right. Looks like the battle hasn't been lost after all, said Gine as she smirks. Good. Now, if you don't mind, I have some family issues to deal with, said King David as he struggles to get up. Gine then slowly stood up and got into her transformation pose. Oh, what's this? You have another transformation for me? I'm just dying to see this, said Arctic as he's still walking towards her. Oh, you won't be smiling very long, said Gine. Arctic then stopped where he was. What kind of transformation is that? Said Arctic. This is called Ultra Instinct, said Gine, glaring at him. Well, looks like we're gonna have to put it to the test, shall we? Said Arctic. Go ahead, make my day, said Gine. Gine and Arctic then fought each other once again, but this time in a more intense battle. Meanwhile, King David steps away from John and transforms himself. Well, John, I didn't think I would have to use this transformation again, but you've given me no choice. King David was now surrounded by white aura as he glared at John with his diamond blue eyes.
Your pathetic transformation won't work. I've also been training.
John was now surrounded by black aura and glared at King David with red eyes.
Let's see how your form goes against mine.
John then flew straight at King David, but he caught his fist just before he could punch him. The two brothers then flew into the sky and fought wildly alongside Gine and Arctic. As the two battles raged on, in space, Bardock and Goku were fighting against the remaining Frieza force. As Bardock took down the remaining fighters, Goku was preparing his special attack against one last battle cruiser. Goku successfully destroyed the last battle cruiser, leaving only a few fighters left. Bardock destroyed almost every single fighter except for 5 remaining fighters. Meanwhile on the planet, Gine knocks Arctic to the ground, using all her strength. Arctic hits the ground very hard, leaving a huge crater in the ground. He spits out blood as he looks up at her. I don't believe it. After all those years of training, I find myself struggling to kill you, said Arctic. Well, I'm sorry it's come down to this, but just like your cousin, you too will die, said Gine. Meanwhile, John was also losing the battle as he fell to the ground himself with his armor falling apart, covered in blood and bruises.
This can't be happening. I've trained so hard to take you down.
John coughed up blood as he looks at David. Well, John, you should know by now that I have had my powers much longer than you. Just because you also touched the mysterious stone doesn't mean you're equally stronger than me. I fight for justice and use my powers for good, to watch over the earth and the galaxy. You use your powers merely for your own pleasure, for your desire to take over the kingdom that once belonged to our parents before you killed them that night, said King David.
And it was worth it to get them out of the way so that I can take you on one-on-one. Precious Mom and Dad aren't here to protect you anymore.
Oh, John. You're laughing now, but you just realized that all your hard work and training has gone to waste. You see, in this form, I am very, very powerful. This transformation also happens to be my final form. The one you have is only your second form. So you still have a long ways to go, brother, before you could ever think about taking on me, said King David.
So, you think I have to train more just to beat you, huh? Well then, what do you say I start with you?
Said John as he rushed over to attack King David. King David then delivered a heavy blow to his gut, sending him flying at least 10 feet from where he was standing. His armor began to crack and fall apart once again as he laid there on the ground. King David then walked over to John. King David then looked down at John as he was barely conscious.
It cannot end this way,
said John. What am I going to do with you, John? You are at the end of your life right here, brother. You're doing all this. And for what? Jealousy? A desire to be a king? You have to open your eyes and look where it's gotten you. Here you are laying down on the ground, about ready to face death. Is ruling the kingdom that important to you, to where you're willing to lose your life right here and now? Said King David.
If it means taking your place as king, I'll do whatever it takes,
said John. John, look at you. You already were a king once. You were the king of your own empire. But because of your evil and your threat to the galaxy and the earth, I took down your empire. You're pretty much all that's left of it. So not only do you no longer have a mom and dad to run to, you don't even have an empire anymore. You are now just an angry man who really needs to just turn away from all this evil, said King David. Please, brother, give up this path of darkness. Come home. Be with your family, or at least what's left of it. I'm willing to forgive you because I love you. You are my brother, and I was always there by your side since we were 0. Mom and Dad would definitely not want to see this, what we've been doing for the last several years. Will you come home, brother, and give up this path of destruction? Said King David.
I am sorry, David. You're right. I've wasted all my resources and strength trying to take you down for a position that wasn't even worth all this. All this for my own personal gain. Will you forgive me, brother?
Said John. Meanwhile, Goku and Bardock arrive to the planet along with what's left of King David's fleet. I hope we didn't miss anything, said Goku. Looks like the party's already begun, said Bardock. I forgive you, said King David as he held John in his arms. Well, you see that, Arctic? Looks like your master is no longer gonna help you, said Gine. That traitor. This is not how I imagined the plan would go. Well then, I guess I'm gonna have to kill you all, said Arctic as he flew into the sky. Arctic then lifted up his finger and started to create a supernova. Just like my cousin, I too will destroy a planet, said Arctic as he charged his attack. We have to stop him, said Goku. Okay, John, you stay here and rest. Me and the others are gonna stop Arctic before he kills us all, said King David.
No. If there's a way you can heal me, I can help,
said John, struggling to get up. You need your rest.
Please, I want to redeem myself,
said John. Okay, let's see what I can do. King David then put his hand on John's chest, causing his whole body to glow. All the blood and the bruises started to disappear as John was receiving full health. There, said King David.
Let's stop him,
said John. Alright, everybody. Let's concentrate our attack on Arctic. If that energy ball hits the ground, it could be the end of all of us. We have to take it out, said King David. Gine looked at the energy ball full of shock and fear, as she now has memories from when Frieza used his supernova. It can't be. That's the same attack that destroyed planet Vegeta and killed and killed everybody, said Gine as he began to cry. Gine, I understand you're feeling upset because of what you saw that day. But right now, I need you to focus. We have to stop him, or it's gonna be us next, said King David. Yes, you're right, said Gine. Arctic then threw his supernova at the planet, heading straight for the fighters. Alright guys, now! Goku and Bardock then transformed into their Super Saiyan 3 form. Open fire! Yelled King David as everyone fired a powerful blast at the supernova. The supernova was now stopped in its tracks as everyone's attack held in place. Persistent pest? Ah! Arctic then used more energy to send the supernova further down to the planet. But the fighters continued to hold their position. Don't give in, guys. Give it all you got, said King David. The team struggled to keep the supernova from touching the ground as they used every ounce of their energy. Come on, we gotta stop his attack. Both Arctic and the team used a tremendous amount of energy to keep the attacks going. Everybody now! Yelled King David. Everyone used every ounce of their energy, sending the supernova back at Arctic. No! The supernova was sent into space, where it eventually exploded. Arctic was completely destroyed by the blast, leaving no trace. Several months later, King David and his brother John were finally living in peace together. King David continued to rule the kingdom as king, and John, well, he retired. He decided to just take it easy and go on a long permanent vacation by staying in the kingdom, becoming a harmless but still powerful warrior for the kingdom. Meanwhile, Gine and her family were getting ready to leave planet David to move back home to planet Vegeta, which is now being called planet Bardock, as he is now the new king of the Saiyans. Gine, I want to say it's been a pleasure knowing you and helping you, said King David. I appreciate everything you did for me, David. If it wasn't for you, we never would have made it this far, said Gine. And you know, thanks to you, me and my brother over there are finally at peace. We can all now live in peace for as long as possible, said King David. Please don't stay away too long. Come by and visit whenever you can. Maybe like holidays or whatever, said King David. I will. We'll stay in touch, said Gine as she smiled at King David. Well, for now then, this is goodbye, said King David. Yes, said Gine. King David and Gine then hugged each other as they said their goodbyes. Gine and her family later arrived on the new planet Bardock, where she and Bardock may rule what used to be planet Vegeta as king and queen, with Goku and Raditz as the prince of all Saiyans. Now, what happened to Vegeta? Well, he of course became the third prince of the Saiyans. Well, first, a king, a queen, and 3 princes ruling planet Bardock. And so everyone lived in peace. I am King David the Warrior. I hope you guys enjoyed the story. Like and subscribe for more and hit that notification button. I'll see you guys next time. Shalom.